Hi friends, Myra here. So today I'm going to walk you through how I created an integration between Twitter and my Miro board. So my use case for this is really for a international conference where I'm speaking. So I'm going to have a virtual audience, so people at home, and I'm going to have a live audience, so people in the same room with me. And I want to use Miro as my board because I'm doing a design thinking session, and I like my sessions to be really interactive. I want a way for participants to be able to add post-it notes to my Miro board without having to share my Miro board with them and without having them download the Miro app to their phone and get access to my Miro board. So I've been brainstorming different things and I tested this integration out, and I'm going to walk you through how I built it. So that's the purpose of this video. I also realized that this background makes my hair look even bigger, so that's fun. Anyway, so let me share with you how I work through this. So I'm going to share my screen. All right, so now here you see that I have Miro open. I have Zapier, which is what we're going to use to create that integration, and I have my Twitter. So I'm going to begin here on Miro, and I created a new board, and I'm going to give it a name here. I'm going to call this Myra's Room. And just click out of the space, so now it has a name. The next thing I need to do is I need to add a frame. So the frame is this icon down here that looks like a square, and I'm going to pick just letter size for right now. And then on the name, we're going to name this. So I'm double clicking on the name. I'm just going to call this hashtag Q1, and you'll see why. Oops, should have been a 1, not an exclamation point. Okay. All right, so now that we have that set up, we're now going to create our Zap. So in Zapier, I'm going to go up here. I'm going to go to Twitter. I'm going to search for Twitter. I'm not going to go to Twitter. I'm going to search for Twitter. And then it's going to ask me, what do you want to integrate that with? So I want to pair it with Miro. So what this is going to do is what it's saying right here. I'm saying if someone sends a tweet, I want it to send it to Miro. That's just the basic concept behind that. So now what we want is what happens, like what's the trigger when this happens? And so we can use these arrows to look at the different types of triggers. I'm looking for a search mention here. There it goes. So it triggers when a user creates a tweet, they use a specific search term, like a word, a phrase, or a hashtag, right? And then I want it to automatically create a card. So it can either create a board, a new board, or a card. Those are my options. So I'm just going to build this combination. All right, and now it's going to ask me to connect everything. So my Twitter is already connected because I've reconnected it. I have other integrations. And then the search term I'm going to use is Q1. So remember, I named this Q1. So I'm going to use the search term Q1. So anything that uses that search term will go on the board. I'm going to click next. And now with that hashtag, you want to be very careful that you don't use like a really popular hashtag because you'll end up with a bunch of stuff on your board that you don't want. I'm going to connect it to my Miro. So I have 2 Miros. I know which one is which. This is my consultant account. Now I'm going to click next. Okay, so now it's going to ask me for my board. Remember, I retitled this Myra's Room, so that's the board I want to use. And click next. And then it's going to ask me what frame do I want to add it to. We only added 1 frame. We named it hashtag Q1, so we're going to select that. And now it's going to ask me for this card, what do I want to appear on the card? So card title is required because that's what goes inside of the card. So we're going to select text as our card title because we want the actual tweet to appear in there. We don't need the username and all that other stuff. We could add that, but we really don't have to, but I'll add text. And if we want to, we can add the username as a card link. We're not going to fill everything else out. We're going to click next. And then I want to give it a color for my card. It's just going to add a little border to the card. So I'm going to do green here. And so keep an eye on the Miro board. Let me make this a little bit bigger over here. Zoom in a little. Okay. And because I'm going to test this. send a test because it found a tweet that has that Q1 in it. And so it created a card here, and we can make this bigger. Boop. Let's just like make it really big. And so you notice it has a link in it. It'll link to like the username. So like if you wanted to go back and see who tweeted what, you could. But this is basically it. So now that we've created the Zap, go next here. And now we can just turn it on. So now if I go to my phone, I have my phone here, not that you guys can see it. I can tweet from here. But what I'll do is let me tweet from up here. So I'm going to do hello world hashtag Q1. And I'm just going to tweet that. Oop. All right. So the tweet was sent. Now, the tweets are supposed to be instant, but in the world of Zapier and integrations, instant doesn't mean right away. So it usually means that it will take about 2 to 3 minutes for that Zap to actually run. So we have it on. And if I go to my Zaps here, this is the integration we just created. If I click the little down arrow next to it, I can run it now. And it's going to go searching, and it found one mentioned, and it created a card. And here's the card. So the one trick with this is that it does make the cards pretty small, and you'll have to like make them bigger. But this is how I'm creating this integration into Miro. And I hope to use this during my presentation at ATD ICE. With this will allow people in the audience and at home to send a tweet using specific hashtags that I put up on screen, and their mentions will appear on my Miro board, allowing them to interact with me and with other people in the session, whether they're virtual or they're in person. I do wish that I could create a note instead of a card, because notes are sticky notes. I wish I could just create like a sticky note automatically onto the board like that, and then have the tweet in there. But the integration that I can create with Zap is really limited to those three, which is like create a new board, add, create another board within an existing board, or to add a card. So I hope that you found this useful. I am going to continue to play around with these integrations. I will share these Zaps with everyone. I'll make sure that the link is to this specific Zap is shared in the comments below, so you can play around with it too, adding your own Twitter information and your own Miro board information. Hope you found this useful.